Hello, my brothers and sisters. I hope you guys are doing well. Wishing you so much joy, harmony, and abundance and awareness in your life. Welcome into this video for meditation tips. So this video I decided to record because I love giving meditations and I always have this list of advice that I give prior to the meditation, and so I kind of wanted to shorten that aspect of my meditation offering so that we have this video you guys can come to anytime that you want to review the meditation tips, but you don't have to listen to it every time I offer a meditation. So the first meditation tip I have to offer to you is remember you can meditate. You can meditate. No matter what experience you've had it in the past, no matter what you believe about your ability to meditate, you can meditate. So the way that we get around this is looking at meditation not as an ability that's innate within us, but it's a skill that we practice. So remember that every time you go into a meditative experience or journey, you are practicing your meditation muscle. So it might not be a very strong muscle at first, and that's what people mean when they say, I can't meditate. What they mean to say is, my meditation muscle is really weak. Well, that's okay. There's no judgment here for that. You can meditate. You can flex this muscle, and the more and more that you practice, like anything else, the better you will be. So this brings me to another aspect that I really want you to keep in mind as you're going through your practice. You will not be perfect. In fact, there is no such thing as a perfect meditation. You are practicing, you are learning, you are growing, you are experiencing different things in each day and each time that you sit down in your practice. And so there is this tendency that we have to beat ourselves up for what we think is the ideal for our practice. So that's another thing I want you to remember. Please don't beat yourself up. This is a practice. And if you notice your mind wandering, which guess what? The mind is trained to do most of the day, it's just wandering. Just notice, oh, I'm thinking about something that happened before, or I'm trying to be in the future and think about what's going on there. And instead just be like, okay, I notice I've wandered. I'm going to gently guide my focus back to the sound of the meditation, remembering where I am in the meditation, what the exercise that I'm supposed to be focusing on is, and just come back into this space. It's almost like bringing a wandering child back, to where they're supposed to be, back to the path, so to speak. Just lovingly calling this mind of yours back. The more and more you fight it, or if you yell at it and you chastise it for wandering, then it's going to be a lot harder for you to get back into a relaxed state of being and let yourself settle back into the practice. So please remember that your mind wandering is a natural phenomenon. It's going to happen, and every time that you notice that it's wandered and you guide it back to the practice, that is you honing your meditation ability and skill. So meditation is not really about releasing your mind from all thoughts, okay? Meditation really is about focused awareness on a specific set of focuses. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be an imagination exercise. It could be breathing. It could be listening to music. It could be all of the above. But it's a set of focused energy and awareness. And it's not really about shutting off your mind unless that's the focus of that particular meditation. So remember that there is no perfection here, and we are really just working on focusing. And this brings me back to my point. Every time you bring your focus back to this thing that you've selected to focus on, not that your mind has selected to focus on, but you consciously have been like, this is what I'm focusing on. Every time you do that and you shift your mind, you shift your awareness back into the object at hand, the practice at hand, you're activating that muscle. You're getting stronger and stronger, and that you're going to take this skill out with you in your everyday life. When you notice yourself getting caught up in a bunch of thoughts that are not serving you, you are going to have that same, my mind has wandered. I'm in this place that I've decided that I want to practice getting out of. And then you just bring your awareness back to something that feels good, back to a gratitude, back to a breath, or any of the above in your real life. But in the meditation practice, every time you guide it back to the meditation, you are actually strengthening that muscle. Hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment, and I will get back to you with the answers to your questions. The second thing I really want to talk about is being comfortable when we meditate. We don't have to be in the standard lotus position that you see all the meditators in to enjoy and experience and have a successful meditation. You want to be comfortable in a position that you can hold and relax your body and experience without stressing yourself out, without feeling uncomfortable, without holding your body in a position that it doesn't want to be in because it's not comfortable. So when you are lying down, you want to make sure that your legs and your arms aren't crossed, because what that does is that actually crosses your energy. Even if you're sitting up with your legs on the floor, keep them apart rather than crossed, because you will actually cross the energy and kind of restrict the energy. Same thing with the palms. You want the palms up and open rather than clenched and closed. The other thing is, if you are being relaxed, try to pick a place that's not the place that you normally sleep, because your body is going to activate and trigger the, it's time to sleep energy when you are in this place that you normally sleep in. And it's going to be a lot harder for you to stay awake during the meditation if you're choosing a place that you're comfortable. But if that place that you're comfortable is your bed, you're probably just going to fall asleep. So just keep that in mind as well when you're choosing your comfortable place. I always recommend selecting a specific place that you like to meditate, that special place that you go to be comfortable and to have your inner journeys and experiences and to have this practice. The other thing with being comfortable is letting the people in your space know that you are needing to not be interrupted for the length of the meditation. Because when you are constantly worried about that interruption coming in and taking you out of the meditation, you're already half out of the meditation because you're anticipating the potential of an interruption. I know this is hard for a lot of people, and this is probably the hardest thing for a lot of people when it comes to meditating, is to say to the people in their space, hey, I need 15 minutes, half an hour, whatever it is, for you just to not interrupt me. And especially with children who have trouble understanding this concept, I know that this can be kind of a difficult conversation to have at first. But also remember that the more and more that you are practicing meditating, the more and more that you're getting into your body and getting into a state of mindfulness and getting into a place of inner peace within yourself, you are going to come out of that meditation space a much more relaxed, much more aligned, much more peaceful person, and that is going to benefit the people in your space. So if you could kind of train your family members to recognize that the person who leaves the meditation journey in space is a amplified version, an improved, enhanced version of the person who sat down to meditate. I actually took this from my mentor who has children, and when they were younger and she was having trouble setting the space, she showed them how much different she was when she came out of the space, and then they were happy to. Then they were telling her, Mom, can you go meditate? Because they recognized the value that it was having for her, and honoring that sacred space for her, and really letting yourself set that boundary for yourself. It's an important boundary to have no matter what your home situation is. Same thing with pets. I know a lot of pets can actually be more distracting if they're kept out of a space, but if you could have somebody else taking care of your pets for the moment, or entertaining them, or at least getting them into a different space, that can really be helpful. Some animals really love the meditation energy, so you might just develop a space where the animals come in for that. But if you have a distracting animal in a meditative space, just keep that in mind when you're picking your place and when you're setting up to be comfortable for your meditation. Lastly, I want to talk about the imagination ability. So a lot of meditations will say something like visualize or feel or see or sense or intend. I add these extra words because everybody has different imagination abilities, okay? So some people, when they imagine something and with their eyes closed, they can see the image in their mind's eye. Some people don't have that ability. Some people might feel it more in their body, as if their whole body is there. Some people might hear sounds that make it that are having it sound like they're at the place that they're imagining, or they're experiencing what they're imagining. Some people smell smells when they imagine something. Some people just know that they are having this experience without having any sort of other imagination sense to go along with it. So just remember that the imagination abilities are also things that you're practicing during your meditation. So when someone says imagine this blah, 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 whatever it is that you're trying to imagine, right? Imagine a forest field. If you don't like see trees in your mind's eye and you're getting frustrated because you're not seeing trees in your mind's eye, you're going to be totally taken out of the relaxing energy of the meditation. But if you could just be like, okay, I'm imagining trees. What does that feel like to me? What does that look like? What does that smell like? What does that sound like? And you're just allowing whatever imagination ability comes natural to you to show up first, and then allowing the other details to fill in. That's really what we're talking about here when we're talking about the imagination abilities. It's not right or wrong if you can't see something in your mind's eye. I actually can't see very well in my mind's eye. I've been developing it over the years and years and years that I've been meditating. But for me, I feel it more in my body than anything else. And it took me a while to get over that mental beat up about not being able to see what I was being told to see, because I don't have that imagination ability wasn't very trained in me. And I just got to get over that and realize, well, I feel myself there and I can smell it almost. And some people just see words or representations of it. That is perfect and right for you. So try not to get too caught up in whether or not you're perfectly experiencing what is being guided for you, because you have a different imagination ability than everybody else, right? It's totally this unique thing to you. And so just be mindful of that when you are going into the space, and don't beat yourself up if you are not having an experience right away. That's another thing I want to talk about, the imagination abilities. It's more of like an allowing the imagination to come through and allowing yourself to have the journey and experience rather than forcing something to happen. That's really important to remember, that the meditation journey is more about allowing and releasing the control and the force energy. Lastly, I just want to wrap up here with, if the journey that you're on doesn't follow to the letter what you're being guided, please know that that's okay. You're having your own experience. Sometimes your mind or your higher self or whatever it is that you interact with when you go within wants to take you on a slightly different journey. And as long as it's within the theme and the container of what it is that you're exploring in your practice, I encourage you to allow yourself to be brought to the visualization that is best for you. I'll give you a quick example. So I was doing a guided visualization, and we were going through a savanna and the grasses and meeting with lions and having this cool lion interaction. And when I talked to the people who experienced meditation after, some people were like, well, I was on a carousel and I was riding the lions on the carousel, and some other people were in a totally different space. I forget what the other examples were, but I do remember the one person who was on the carousel. And it was perfect. And the messages that came through for her were so right and so potent and so spot on. But it wasn't exactly what it was that I had been guiding them to, but it was exactly what they needed. And it was within the theme of what we were exploring. So just keep that in mind as you go through your practice, that your own unique individual experience might slightly differ than what is being guided. And know that that's natural and okay, as long as you're still on the theme of what it is that you're practicing. All right, my dears, I believe that is all that I have to share with you as far as my meditation tips. No, one more thing I will add is, the more that you meditate, the more that you practice, the better you get at it. So if you can make this more of a routine than anything else, I do encourage you to do that. That's just a tip that I have. The more that you do this and the more that you explore it, the better you will become at it. Setting a set time every day to do it, and picking a meditation that you really like and sticking with that for a while can be a great way to get into it when you first start. So yes, now I am complete. I hope you guys are having just a beautiful experience, that you're learning to listen to the wisdom within your heart more and more, and experiencing the joy, harmony, and abundance that you are worthy of. Thank you so much for watching this video, and as always, namaste. The universal light within me salutes and honors the universal light within you. Namaste.